Good morning, HFC. We're continuing our Advent devotions this morning in Matthew 1, verses 1 through 17. Matthew is the first of the four Gospels, as you know, and how appropriately for it to begin with the genealogy of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to read some excerpts from this passage, not every verse. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. To Abraham was born Isaac, and to Isaac Jacob, and to Jacob Judah and his brothers. And to Judah were born Perez and Zerah by Tamar, and to Perez was born Hezron, and to Hezron Ram. And to Ram was born Amminadab, and to Amminadab Nahshon, and to Nahshon Salmon. And to Salmon was born Boaz by Rahab. And to Boaz was born Obed by Ruth, and to Obed Jesse. And to Jesse was born David the king. And to David was born Solomon by her who had been the wife of Uriah. And moving forward to verses 16 through 17, and to Jacob was born Joseph, the husband of Mary, by whom was born Jesus, who is called Christ. Therefore all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations, and from David to the deportation to Babylon 14 generations, and from the deportation to Babylon to the time of Christ 14 generations. So 42 generations in total from Abraham to Christ. And Matthew is pointing back to and remembering the promise made to Abraham, the original promise back in Genesis 12, when God told Abraham that he would make him into a great nation and would bless him. And through him, all the families of the earth would be blessed. Promise fulfilled in Jesus Christ. God told David that someone from his line would rule on the throne forever. Promise fulfilled in Jesus Christ. God keeps his promises. And throughout these 42 generations, there's so many different things that happen, so many storylines. We had good kings, we had bad kings, we had good prophets, bad prophets. We had 400 years in slavery in Egypt, and then the parting of the Red Sea, the entering into the promised land. We had losing the book of the law, and then Josiah finding the book of the law. We had great triumphs and great failures. We had great victories, and we had great sin. But despite all of that, God worked it all, good and evil, into his perfect plan of salvation. Nothing thwarts the plans of God, not even sinful man or evil thwart the plans of God. He brought about his perfect plan of salvation. He brought perfection out of imperfection. He brought redemption from sin, and he brings beauty from ashes, and that's still true today. And finally, what a beautiful way to show the grafting in of the Gentiles into this plan. Rahab was a prostitute, but by faith she helped the spies that came into the land of Jericho, and God honored that. She was the great-great-grandmother of King David. Ruth, by faith, after she lost her husband, followed her mother-in-law Naomi back to Judah, and God honored that. She married her kinsman redeemer, and she became the great-grandmother of King David. So, I want to encourage you this morning that as believers, we are part of this story. We are spiritual descendants of Abraham. And so we're part of the blessing. We've been blessed, and we are to go and be a blessing. And he has sealed us with his spirit in Jesus, and he has given us spiritual gifts, and we are a royal priesthood declaring his praises. So I just want to encourage you to walk in the peace, the power, the love, the truth, and the grace of Christ this Christmas season. And remember, again, the joy of your salvation. Merry Christmas.